Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us again. We're back once again with the man, the myth, the legend, Guitar Hero Justin Jaynes, getting ready for his fight this weekend at UFC Vegas 18. Overeem versus Volkov. Justin, how you feeling today? How everything going well? Camp? I mean, can't really call it camp. It's another short notice fight for you.
Yeah, there's no camp, man. It's just this is gonna be a street fight, man. I'm excited. It's gonna be a street fight. It's gonna be a brawl, man. I got to make this fight a brawl, so I'm super excited about it. I think it's gonna be an exciting fight. I don't see it going the distance, and yeah, man, I'm pumped. Just getting to the hotel right now, relaxing a bit.
And now something I've been trying to promote over on our Insta and in Twitter is that this is going to be just a fighter's fight right here. Two guys that just love to duke it out. This is going to be a 160-pound catchweight fight, so a little less weight cutting for you, which is very generous of them to do on the whole 6 days notice. I'm sure you're not going to complain about that. But the original fight, the original opponent for Devonte Smith was Alex De Silva. He pulled out for undisclosed reasons. So, Justin, you just got the call, and you just announced this on Monday. So you got something real soon. And so, what was it like? So, are you just now the short notice guy? And how did the UFC call you up for this one?
Basically, yeah, man. My job is to fight, dude. Obviously, the more preparation time, the better. But short notice fights are cool too, man. I got enough experience. I can get in there and bang with anybody, especially on a week's notice or even a day notice. Look what I did to Frank Camacho, on 48-hour notice. So UFC just called, said they had an opening, and they put a little sugar on top of the opening. Gave me a little incentive, and I was like, all right, let's fucking go. So here we are. I'm talking to you. I'm in the hotel. Like I said, not much of a game plan. Just hit him harder than he hits me, and see what happens.
It's the same thing for your past three fights, right?
That's what it's every fight. Everyone, what's your game plan? Just hit him harder than he hits me.
It's pretty. Gotta keep it simple. Gotta keep it
Yeah.
simple. And then Blake, you wanted to kind of talk about most importantly the fight game because Ariel and Dustin were kind of having conversation on Monday. You want to go into that some more?
Yeah, I just noticed that they were having a little bit of a conversation. Dustin, I don't know if you caught the Conor McGregor fight, but towards the end of that fight, actually at the very end, he had said to DC, I don't really love this shit anymore.
Yeah.
And so he kind of went into detail on the Ariel Helwani show, saying it's not that I don't like inflicting violence. I still love to hurt guys. Not no offense to the guys that I'm hurting. It's just our job. So I was curious as a fighter, as a fellow fighter, what's your favorite? What gets you pumped up the most of fight? Like, what's your favorite aspect of the fight game?
Dude, honestly, I don't really get pumped up to fight. I love. I genuinely love competing. It's not a team sport. It's on me. It's not on my coaches. Just like in wrestling, I wrestled in college for 4 years. Like when I lose, I can't. Oh my god, it's my coach's fault. No, fuck that. It'd be my fault. And that's one thing. It gets me excited because when I win, it's a team effort. When I lose, it's on me. So I think that's probably the most exciting thing for me. I think that there's more to the Poirier conversation about him saying he doesn't love it. I think there's more politics involved in that. I just heard Justin Gaethje's rant as well. He ranted to John Morgan from MMA Junkie.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to it's like a 3-minute skit, but I think there's more to the Poirier rant than that. Like you got guys like Oliveira, man. He's won like 7 or 8 fights in a row. I think 8 fights in a row, 7 by finish. And this guy's not getting a title shot. Come on, there's some politics to play. They keep trying to keep Conor in the mix, and I think a lot of the upper big dogs, Justin Gaethje, Poirier, they're getting sick of this, they're trying to like put everything around Conor. And I think that's what he was talking about losing the. I don't think he said passion. I know what you're talking about. I just can't remember exactly what he said, but I think it was more of a political stand than an actual physical and mental stand.
Now, if we want to stay on this topic just real quick, of course, you're predominantly in the lightweight, so this is your division. Obviously, you're going to have a little more extra focus on this. Now, there's a lot of stuff that's been going around with the title in the lightweight division. There's been a lot of it's been in limbo pretty much. There's also been a lot of talk about who does Dustin fight for the title. And I'm not sure how much weight you put into this if you pay attention to it a bunch or just focus on yourself, but in just your opinion, especially as a lightweight fighter, what do you think about the whole Conor trilogy, the Nate Diaz against Tyson Poirier thing, Charles Oliveira? What are your thoughts on this?
These are the matchups I think need to happen now, and I think from a fighter standpoint, I think Poirier needs to fight Oliveira for the title. if Khabib's retired. I think Conor isn't going to win 2 or 3 more fights in the UFC. I'm pretty sure his career is over. I think he's going to compete again, but I can't see him competing at the top level. He's not going to beat Oliveira. He's going to get subbed by him. Gaethje's a good matchup for him because he'll stand and bang with him.
Mm-hmm.
But what I really think the best matchup for the business, for the UFC, is the trilogy for him and Diaz. And then I think Ferguson. I'm tossing around. Ferguson's lost 2 in a row now. I think Gaethje should fight Chandler, and or Ferguson for that matter. But I mean, I'm more towards Gaethje and Chandler than Ferguson, because Ferguson's coming off 2 losses. To put him in title contention, put him in the top 5 after 2 losses is tough, even though they've been tough losses. But still, I think those are the matchups that need to be made. Those are the right matchups to make. They make sense. But UFC is a business. They got to see where the money's going to come in. Anywhere Conor McGregor, maybe Conor and Ferguson, both coming off losses. That would be a very entertaining fight as well. I think Ferguson smashes him. I don't think Conor's going to be able to put him away. Gaethje couldn't put him away. And, he did, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think Ferguson's going to be slick and awkward and weird. And like I said, I don't think Conor should be in the top 5. I don't think he wins another top 5 fight in his career.
I wouldn't mind that Ferguson fight. I think that would actually be one of those fights that might bring the old Conor out, right? The trash talker, and get him fired up.
Not to interrupt you, but that is exactly why I don't think he's going to win. He's changed. Money's has changed. Success has changed him. When you're at the top of the mountain, you're looking down at all your peers. How do you stay motivated? You know what I mean? And look at his last 2 fights. Oh, he beat Donald Cerrone, who's lost 5 fights in a row. And he just got dismantled by Poirier. And dude, the guy, he's back rubbing all his opponents the whole time. Oh, you're such a great fighter. You're so good. Like, where's that Conor when he jumps over the cage and runs up to Jose Aldo, gets in his face, he goes, ah, you know what I mean? That Conor's gone. That Conor's gone.
Right.
No, that was his edge. That was his mental edge. He could get in these guys' heads, get them emotional. The first time he fought Poirier said, all I want to do is hurt this guy. From all the trash, I just want to hurt him. And this one, he said, I don't want to hurt him. I want to out-technique him, outclass him. And he did that. To me, like I said, I don't think Conor wins. I don't think Conor can beat anybody in the top 5. I think Justin Gaethje is probably the only guy he could beat, and only because Justin's going to try and stand and bang with him, and and Conor has power to knock him out. But Oliveira subs him. Poirier just picked him apart. Ferguson, I think, is going to be too funky for him. I think he's going to find him on the ground, in a submission somewhere. Conor doesn't have a problem tapping out. He's tapped out 3. I think he has 3 tap out submissions. You got TKO'd his last fight. How do you bounce back? Man, I don't think he can beat anybody in the top 5.
That's very fair assessment. It's really gonna be curious where the UFC goes with this one. But what's funny is, going through this, Blake, you were actually doing some pretty good digging and some stuff we didn't even talk about in our first one. Going back to the high school days.
Yeah. I was actually reading on your Wikipedia page,
So time out. My Wikipedia page is mostly wrong.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay,
so
let's
correct
it. So can we get some confirmation on the state wrestling?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Did you face off against Drakkar Klose? And
I did.
Okay, so that's a fact on the Wikipedia. Okay, cool. Because there was also some other crazy stuff on there, like 47 amateur bouts and a bunch of other numbers on there.
Fact as well, but I remember he has a girlfriend that he plans on marrying one day, and I was like, what? Where did this come from?
Okay.
It's all roundabout. It's all roundabout, but it's not exact. I did have 47 amateur fights, and I do have 22 pro fights now.
Wow.
So actual, but yeah, Drakkar Klose and he went to South Haven. I went to Richmond, and we wrestled against each other in a state finals tournament. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe I lost to him by a point, and it was a stalling point. And if you know how wrestling is scored, it's a referee discretion call, and I've been bitter about it ever since.
So now this is leading me into my actual question. Is that something that potentially we could see go down in the UFC, some revenge, so to say?
I would love that. I've proposed the matchup, but again, being the little dog, coming off 2 losses now, 1-2 right now, I can't make those bold call outs right now. You know, I need to get some wins. Drakar's, you know, I don't know what his record is. I think he has 3 wins and 2 losses. I know he lost his last fight, got knocked out. But dude, how fucking cool would that be?
That would be a storyline.
It's a perfect storyline. Get a full camp. He gets a full camp, and whatever happens, happens. And not to mention, I'm a Drakkar Klose fan. I root for him. When he fights, I want him to win. You know, I don't have any animosity toward him. You know, like his girlfriend fought, you know, my debut card, and or was it my debut card? I don't remember. But anyways, we chopped it up, dude. I told him come out here and train, and whenever he invited me to come out and hang out with them, and Drakkar Klose is an incredible fighter. He's an incredible athlete, and he's an incredible person, man. I have nothing bad to say about him, but he did beat me in high school, and I'd love to punch him.
Love that. So you're speaking about, you just kind of mentioned you'll have a full camp for this, and that was something that was saying a really influential person in the MMA kind of society is Chael Sonnen, of course. And he was kind of speaking about the Conor McGregor fight, and he was saying stuff that a camp really isn't important or as important as a lot of people think. So as a guy that has a lot, I mean, 3 of your 4 UFC fights are now short notice. I mean, the time you've had to train for your UFC fights combined is less than the normal amount of time someone spends fighting for one fight. So is training camp almost overrated in a way, or is there still a need for it?
No, I mean, it's not overrated by any means. If I had a preference, I'd love at least a 4-week training camp. The longest training camp I've got so far is 3 weeks. And that's 145. And it wasn't even really a training camp. That's just 3 weeks of misery of cutting weight. Right. I weighed 78 pounds, and 3 weeks later I weighed 145 pounds, so I think training camp is important. But with that being said, long training camps, a lot of injuries happen in training. I mean, we're fighting every day in the gym. We're rolling, we're submitting, we're punching, kicking. Like these short notice fights, dude. I'm injury free because I haven't been putting in those intensity workouts. Excuse me, if that makes sense. When I'm in there and I know I got to fight in 2 weeks, and I'm trying to push my cardio pace. There's been times I've been injured. I've gotten injured in that. My last fight. I only had 2 weeks to prepare for it, but in the week before weigh-ins, I hurt my foot and I had to go to PT, for until the day of the fight. So, training camp is important, but you don't need them. And you know what? I think it's person to person is, coming from a wrestling background and competing so much, in wrestling, you're competing, sometimes, 3 different tournaments or 3 different dual meets a week. That could be 2 tournaments. That could be fucking 6 matches, 6 to 10 matches in a week, and that's basically all short notice shit. You don't know who you're going to wrestle against. And I think that's where my edge is, honestly. It's, I'm going to show up with short notice. I don't need all the notice to be ready, but I'd prefer it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I'm going to black out for 1 second because I need to answer this text. 1 second. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
No worries.
Oh, of course. And then would you kind of be in the same kind of camp that Max Holloway? He hasn't sparred for his last 2 fights, and his most recent one, he only put on arguably the greatest boxing performance of all time. So you put a little weight behind, take a little less damage at camp to no damage. It's going to make you better for the fight.
Yes, I agree. Robbie Lawler did the same thing. He took a long layoff to where he didn't spar for a long time. But with that being said, you can spar at a light pace. I don't believe that Max went however long he said it didn't spar at all. I just don't believe that. Maybe he did, but I just can't see it. When he says not sparring, he means not gym wars. It's like there's guys that come to the gym and they'll be like, oh fuck, that guy fights in the UFC. Like, oh, I want to fight with him. I want to see what I got against him. And now that we're getting to, he's getting older. Same thing with me. I'm very particular about my partners. If Drakkar Klose came into the gym, I probably wouldn't spar him because who knows what'll happen. It might turn into a firework fight. Trying to dick measure each other. Maybe probably not Drakkar because we're both professional, but other guys that you don't know. And it happens all the time, man. And I think that he just was probably more particular about his partners and slowed the pace down and didn't take any damage. You can touch spar at a fast pace and still grapple and still get that cardio work in, but you need the sparring for your timing. You need to see punches coming at you. And I'm like I said, I don't know, but I'm assuming that he did spar. It just was controlled sparring. And when people say they don't spar, they mean they're not banging heads around anymore.
Gotcha. Then, so the 47 amateur bouts that we were talking about, that is factual. It's where
Factual.
Wikipedia says 47. Tapology, I got 4 amateurs, so there's a little bit of discrepancy between there. Let's try to fix those, gentlemen. But
I'll go in and edit it right after we're
right
done.
after. Okay, let's do that. We're gonna take away the whole girlfriend part for Justin, because there's obviously that's not true.
You can just put a link to this interview and put confirmed.
Yeah, confirmed. Yeah.
We're a source. But Blake, you want to talk about? Oh yeah.
Yeah, like somebody went out of their way to do a little bit of research on me, and they wrote these things. I think it said I turned professional in like 2008 or something, which isn't true. But to go to the 47 amateur fights, I fought in Michigan, and in Michigan there was no sanctioning for a long time, so you could every single weekend. There were bars that would set up a cage, and they'd have Saturday night fights, and you come in, you sign up, and then you want to fight, I want to fight, we're the same size, all right, let's fight. And there's a lot of YouTube video, and a lot of tough guys came out of that. Daquan Townsend.
Yeah. Yep.
I fought him twice. I beat him twice.
Wow.
Cody Stamen, same thing. He had a slew of amateur fights. I used to referee Cody Stamen's fights. Darren Cruikshank, he had probably 20 or 30. Daquan, I think he had 35 or 40 amateur fights. Like, and there was no weight class. There wasn't much of a weight class. Like, it was very shady. Like, and I are clearly not the same size, but for somehow we always were the same. It was really weird. So
I was gonna say, isn't he fighting at like middleweight or something?
He fights at middleweight. We agreed to meet at 170, and he said, "Oh, the lowest I could get was 172."
Of course.
So that happened, both times, and fortunately I came out and beat him both times. But like Michigan's the Wild Wild West. Murcielago has a slew of great fighters down there. Michigan top team, a slew of great fighters. I feel unfortunately that I'm the last of a generation. Me and Cody are the last of that Wild Wild West generation. Where we just wanted to fight. We weren't trying to handpick opponents. Like, this new generation's the little bitches want to handpick every opponent. Well, I'm way better than him, and but he has a good record, so let's fight this guy. It's like, dude, fuck that shit. I'd show up at the bar. That guy looks tough. I'm tough. Let's go. And that's how it was for a long time.
That's super respectable. I also have to ask. So, I mean, you're just showing up to these bars. Is there just pride on the line? Is there any type of purse that you get? Maybe the winner gets a bonus, or is it just strictly pride? You're just showing up there and throwing down. And are you looking to improve? Was
drink
being
at
a
the
professional always in mind for you?
After in 2007 when I had my first amateur fight, I'll give you a quick timeline. So 2007, I didn't want to fight. A friend of mine, Andy McLaughlin, talked me into fighting, and I ended up losing my first fight, first round. I shot in because I was a wrestler. I wrestled in high school, wrestled in college. I got guillotine choked in the first round, and I was like, fuck, well, I got to do another one because I can't go out 0-1. So then I did it, and I grind out a really grimy decision. Just a wrestling clinic basically. And I was like, oh, that was fucking cool. And then I won like 7 fights in a row, and I was like, oh shit, I love this. Like, I want to be a UFC fighter. And and that was that. The rest is history. So, but when you show up to the bar, there's nothing. It was just, you just did it because it was fun. Like, there wasn't a purse. If anything, it cost you money because you got to drive there, you got to get the gear. It was crazy. I remember a couple times where the first time I fought at 185, first knockout I ever had against Dan Truax in Grand Rapids. I was in the crowd drinking a beer. They're like, "Hey, we need a 185. Or anybody want to fight?" No. I didn't really want to. Little buzz going, and and then Dan's like, "Well, how about you? I know you fight." And I was like, "Nah, I don't want to." And he's like, "When you wake up in the mirror, realize you're a bitch." I'll never forget that he said that to me, and I'll never forget that. And I was like, "All right," I put my down. They got me shorts. I got this little shitty mouthpiece that wasn't even indented into my mouth, and I ended up knocking him out cold in like 30 seconds. And it was my first knockout, and it was like the coolest thing ever. And I had my Guitar Hero, and I was jamming. If you ever look up Justin Jaynes, Dan Truax, and the size difference, it was a 185-pound fight. So that was a lot of fun. And after I knocked him out, I got addicted to knocking people out. And I went to Kara Rowe down in Kronk Boxing and World's Best Boxing. She was a 17-0 world champ. And to this day, she works with Cody and I. She flies out to Vegas, still works with us, and always improving our hands.
That's
Wow.
insane.
That is a hell of a story right there, man. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, that's the sorry. I have a big breath of wind. So if I talk too much, let me know.
No,
Uh,
please. That's amazing, dude. I
I think you're
appreciate it.
good. You say you're in the hotel, so you might as well get some talking going. So I'm okay with that. And then kind of to go a little more into your fight this weekend, of course. So, I mean, Devonte Smith, a fellow Team Iridium guy like yourself, shout out to Iridium Sports Agency. They've been having some
Best management team in the game. No questions asked.
Hey, it's big respect to them. They've been having a crazy amount of UFC fighters on these past few cards. It's been kind of insane to see all that. But Devonte Smith, 10-2 fighter right now, 100% finish rate with 9 knockouts and 1 submission. He was a Dana White Contender Series alum, so he got a little taste of the UFC action before actually got into the main roster. Unlike yourself, you just dove headfirst into it. And then his last fight was against Conor Worthy, and he suffered a knockout in the first round. This is back in August of 2019. That was on the Cormier and Stipe Miocic 2 card. And he tore his Achilles after that fight. And so it's been a long kind of layoff for him. And it's kind of a difficult injury to come off of, but a Muay Thai fighter. And so how are you preparing for this fight? Wrestling against Muay Thai, or does that not even matter with you? You're just going to go out and bang, see what happens.
Hold on one second. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
you got it. We're just gonna go out and bang and see what happens. Honestly, like there's fucking. I mean, this guy knocks people out. I don't get knocked out. It's throughout my amateur career, throughout my professional career. I know I got put down with a body shot in my last fight, but I haven't been knocked out. I want to see how hard this guy hits, and everyone says this guy has ungodly power. I'll be the judge of that.
But yeah, the last fight that was just shot to the solar plexus that would have kind of put anyone down.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that one. No need to talk about that one as much though, right? But with that though, so are you kind of feeling any pressure going to this? You mentioned you're now 1-2 in the UFC. Of course, your win was on your debut on 48 hours notice, a 41-second knockout in the first round. You knocked him up standing up, got performance of the night bonus on your debut, little extra 50K. I'm sure that's that's going a long way with there. Maybe a new Xbox out soon, right? You get your hands on that. But how are you kind of feeling with this one going into this? How's your preparation been, and are you just kind of just taking it easy? It's just another fight.
Just another fight, man. Pressure's my pleasure, man. This is what we do it for. I love to compete. I love to fight, and he's a tough opponent. I'm not going to take anything away from him, but I'm pretty tough too. And he's been training for the last couple weeks, and I'm going to show you that I don't even need to train a couple weeks to beat this guy. I'm going to knock this guy in the first round.
Love that. Blake, you were talking about a little bit of the Blake really went back high school, now college. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I was actually I was looking at your resume a little bit and seeing that you went to, I don't know if I'm saying this right, is it Olivet or Olivet College?
Olivet
College. Okay, didn't know if it was like a French pronunciation or something going on.
Sure.
But I just wondered if there's anything that really sticks out, like a favorite memory from your competition days, or maybe even just your scholastic days. Like, is there anything that really you look back on during that time period and just hold on to fondly?
Man, there's just honestly too many memories, to go back. Now, you have to think Darren Cruikshank. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but he was my college roommate, and Cody Stamen would come down and train with us, man, and we're a rowdy bunch, man. There's too many to talk about. Oh my gosh,
Michigan boys, man, they go hard.
We get a little rowdy. My buddy Adam Sadrowski, he'd come over from Richmond, and he'd show up to fights, and this guy he couldn't fight his way out of a wet paper bag, but he'd up and get his ass whipped so bad. Those are probably some of my favorite. Like, first time he had a fight, we had to get him a cup. But we had the cup, but we didn't have a jock strap. So we duct taped it around his waist and through his butt crack. And my favorite memory. And then he got finished in, like, I don't know, a minute or something. He got picked up and slammed on his head. It was just like the fucking funniest thing I've ever seen. Like, because Adam is a lot of heart, and he's a great person. He's a great friend, but he's just not a fighter. And it's funny because the guy. So I was in the back, and I was warming another friend of mine up, Rocky Cantu, and this guy walks in. He's like, "My fight fell through. Anybody here want to fight?" And I raise my hand, and the guy looks at me and goes, "Anybody else want to fight?" and then he points at Bubba, or we call him Bubba, but his name's Adam. He's like, "You want to fight?" And Bubba looks at me like to defend him. I was like, "Fuck yeah, he wants to fight." Startled, and then he's, "Well, I don't have a cup," and I was like, "You can use mine, or use Rocky's after he's done." And he's like, "Oh, well, I don't have a jock strap," and I was like, "Fuck it, I got duct tape. We'll duct tape this thing." So
duct tape jock strap.
Yeah, exactly. So if you go on my Facebook, there's a picture of him holding his cup, and me duct taping like tape around his waist and through his legs, and he got picked up, double leg slammed on his head. Ugh.
I was gonna say he clearly wasn't throwing kicks that fight.
I think he did throw a kick, but
wow.
Keep in mind, Adam he's maybe taken one boxing class ever in his whole fight. You know what I mean? He wouldn't really understand the aggression, but it was fucking awesome, and it was so funny. He's about that, him all the time about that. And he came out. Oh, that was the best part. I forgot his walkout. Oh my God. So the song, it's this old rap song you've probably never heard of. Yeah, come on in. You guys like this? That is not mine. That was on the seat that I was sitting in though. Oh, it was already there? It was there before I got here. No, all right. Yep. No problem. It's like the song starts like, fuck. It's like, I can't remember. But it was like a 100-yard walk, and he had his hand on his head.
100-yard walk? What's he walking out of?
And he's doing this the whole way down on the walkout. Send you the video of it. It's somewhere.
If you want to send us the video, we'll post that so everyone can see the greatness of that.
It was the greatest thing ever. And like he gets in the cage, and I'll do a little impression for you. He looks at the camera because it's videotape, and he's doing like this, like. And picture like a 200-pound fat guy with his shirt off, with basketball shorts on, doing this, and
we need the video.
Yeah, I'll look for it and I'll send it to you after I'm done.
Sounds good. Oh,
that's awesome.
I'm gonna be in my corner this week.
Oh, even better! It's full circle.
Let's go.
Can we see him do the? So we saw was it a couple of cards ago? Israel decided to do a little dance with during his walkout with his corner. Can we see that from you guys?
No. His move is good for me. I can't do it.
That's awesome. Oh, man.
Oh, hold on.
Yes, sir.
All right. Anyway, sorry. My coach, Roman Isbell, the finest pad holder and college wrestler that you'll
shout out to Roman. Hey, what a beast. Do they force you guys to stay together during the quarantine, or is it just...
He just prefers the room for some reason, like in my bed and shit. It's weird. I don't know how. He can fucking sleep in his own room.
He gets a little lonely, man. Just he's there for your company.
No, I mean the UFC really hooks us up on rooms. Like I get 2 rooms and a workout room, but each room has 2 bedrooms. So I have one room, Roman will have the other room, then Dennis, Adam. Well, however we end up going. Going about it, but and then I get a workout room. They clear this room out, put mats on the floor, and we can go in there and work out, and it's right the room over. So it's pretty
insane. How far away is this hotel from the Apex?
What do you think? 3 miles?
Yeah,
about 3 miles, probably 2 or 3 miles.
Dang,
that's not bad.
That's badass.
Have you met the Schmo yet?
Yeah, I did a podcast with Schmo.
Okay.
I don't remember when I did one, but it was before my second fight. I did one.
He seems like a cool dude.
Yeah, it was super cool, super chill. He came by the gym and he awarded our gym like gym of the year and shit.
Oh, nice.
Hey,
that's
shout
awesome.
out to Extreme Couture, one of the best gym in the business, right?
Yes, sir.
Especially for you wrestlers, nothing like having the legend Couture lead the way.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
One of the greatest heavyweights of all time. But now let's. I just want to get down to kind of brass tacks with this, Blake. There is a guy, and so the main event of the prelims, Clay Guida, and
as we like to refer to it.
Yeah, so that's what we just call it, the main event of the prelims. But we have Clay Guida and Michael Johnson getting their fight on, and then Blake, you were kind of going into something about this.
I was doing some more stalking on your Twitter. I saw that you said that a dream matchup would be Clay Guida possibly, and just I wanted you to go maybe a little in detail and just kind of tell us why that would be a dream matchup. Maybe it's the respect you have for him. Maybe it's just you think you could really kick this guy's ass. Just curious as to why that guy would be a dream matchup for you.
Clay Guida was the first lightweight / featherweight that I ever seen compete where I was like, holy shit, this guy's scary. You know, back when I was in like high school, and I'm like, wow, his hair would be in his face and he'd be coming forward like this and winging shots and he'd get dropped. And, you know, I was like, man, I remember I wanted to be like him when I was in high school. And now that we're fighting for the same organization, I think there's no bigger form of respect than to punch him in the face and let him punch me in the face and thank him for it, because he's been in some wars, man. And this is going to be another one of those fights. Clay Guida is one of my favorite fighters of all time. And you know, what an honor it would be to share the cage. I think it'd be such a surreal experience for me, because we're talking, you know, in 2007, 2008, I'm watching this guy on TV, and then almost 15 years later, I get to punch him in the face, man. And Clay, for my debut, we were on the same card and we chopped it up a little bit. I've partied with him before, and it's nothing out of disrespect by any means. Yeah, to me, it's the biggest form of respect. You know, it's not that I think like, oh man, I'll fucking kill this guy. No, how surreal for an experience it'd be to stand across, you know. And you know, it got crazy a little bit after my debut. Another guy I looked up to called me out, and it ended up getting really personal, and he ended up calling me on the phone. But Evan Dunham, after I knocked it out, he got cut after his last loss, and you know, he was calling me out trying to get a little. But I looked up to Evan a lot as well, and that would have been a fun fight. I think he went about it the wrong way of the way he called me out. But yeah, there's a couple of guys that I look up to that I would love to fight, and it would just be a surreal experience.
That's awesome. I also see you guys have a little bit in common. I mean, you're a big hunter, it looks like, and a fisherman as well. So maybe you guys could do a little hunting trip one of these days.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Absolutely, man. And I know Clay's friends with some friends out in California that I'm friends with as well. And we run into each other all the time. And, you know, he knows who I am, and I know who he is. And yeah, it wasn't a disrespectful thing by any means, but people ask for my Christmas matchup or my dream matchup, and it would be Clay Guida before he retires.
And awesome. It's still crazy to me to think that you're looking up to him in high school, and here we are, and he's still out here scrapping. And like same thing with yeah, I'm sorry, but same thing with like the guy in the main event, Alistair Overeem, just crazy long careers. It really is insane to me. But we always got to ask to end things off. Your fight prediction: how is this one going to go down on Saturday evening?
I mean, I have the same prediction every time. Someone's getting knocked out in the first round.
Love it.
I love it. You keep it simple for me. Just 3 times.
If you start getting too complicated, get in your own head, you know. I mean, the game plan's simple. Hit him harder than he hits me, and you know, everyone. You know, Cody Stamen has trained with him and told me like this guy has real power. Like he hits hard. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad that Cody thinks so, but I'm not convinced yet. So he'll get his chance to hit me, and I know he will hit me, and I'll be the judge of his power.
So, how much longer until we get a UFC or just your own T-shirt, a Justin Jaynes T-shirt that just says "Hit him harder than he hits me"? Can we make that happen?
That might be my new saying, my new slogan now. If you do want a Justin Jaynes T-shirt, they at Rhino Elite. Oh wow, that's weird. He just texted me as I said.
He knows.
Texted me simultaneously. They have a really, really cool design they just came out with. And it has the American flag, and it's in camouflage, and it has the J of my name has antlers on it. It's pretty cool. I like it a lot because I like hunting and shit.
If you want to send us a link, I'll make sure to put that stuff in the bio on Twitter, because we can get some badass Justin Jaynes merch.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, I like it. It's not aggressive. It's not, you know, it's not passive. It's rather simple, just like me, and I like it a lot. So yeah, I'll send you guys the link.
Yeah, I'm all for that. Just got a little extra $600 from the government, and I think I know where a portion of that's going.
I need some new fighter apparel, dude. I'm wearing my Sugar Sean stuff right now, so I need some Justin Jaynes gear.
It's not a fighter shirt. It's not anything to do with fighting. It's my new logo, and you know, he came up with this logo. Like I said, it's the J, but it crosses, but then antlers branch off to it. It's perfect for me because hunting is like my favorite thing to do in the whole world.
That's a bitchin' logo you got right there. That's going to look real good on the next show. I'll tell you that much, guys. But that's going to do it for us with Justin Jaynes. Of course, his fight against Devonte Smith going down at the UFC Apex in Vegas on February 6th. UFC Vegas 18, of course, the Overeem and Volkov card. You are not going to want to miss any second of this action. It's one of those fights where I have to hold my eyes open just so I don't blink, because if you blink, you're going to miss something big, especially if it's in the first 41 seconds again. But Justin, thanks so much for taking some time out of your little quarantine in your hotel. And I just want to say best of luck to you on Saturday. And I can't wait to
skill.
Best of
no luck involved.
Yes, sir.
That's what I'm talking about. And just have a great fight, okay? And I can't wait to see you on the list of performance bonuses for the night, right?
Yeah, sounds good, brother. And yeah, if you guys want to chop it up afterwards, hit me up next week and we can do it again.
Yes, sir.
Sounds great, brother. Appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys. Have a good night.
You too, sir.